Thank you so much for joining us for this month's Client Spotlight. I have Neil Golli here of Always Best Care Senior Services. Neil has been a client for 8 years now, which is quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited about that. We welcome you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. So we're going to start off talking a little bit about the business. So first and foremost, tell me a little bit about Always Best Care, how you got started, your background, everything about the business that we could possibly know.
Okay, so we started the company, actually it's exactly 10 years ago this month.
Oh, congratulations.
So my father and I started the company. Honestly wasn't thrilled with the healthcare experience that we had received from other providers taking care of my grandfather, my father's father.
Right.
And I'm one of those people that I kind of say, if I can do something better than you, I'm going to. We took that mentality, and we had first started just a small little non-medical home health care provider. And from there, we started doing Lifeline. Then we started moving people to assisted living communities. We started working with the VA. Went out, got our Medicare license, and while that now makes up the majority of what we do is skilled nursing and physical therapy and occupational therapy, we've maintained all parts of those businesses, and we started just on the west side, and now we're out on the east side as well.
Yes, you are. Slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
All the way out in Toledo, even.
Yes.
So that's all non-medical services, but your skilled side has been wonderful to work with, and learning a lot about all the nurses that take care of people and the wound care and physical therapy. There's so much I've learned from working with you guys over the past couple of years. So
we're doing right now we're just over 1,000 individual visits per week in people's homes.
Oh my goodness. Is that just on skilled side, or is that
just unskilled?
Wow, I didn't realize it was that high.
Yep.
That's awesome. What do you think that you guys do that sets you apart from everybody in the industry?
So there's a lot. So part of my original plan in the beginning was I wanted to say, like, you can call our phone number and we'll help you regardless of what it is. So if we were setting up a Lifeline and maybe not talking again for 2 years, you still had our phone number. We were still there to kind of reach out. And what we've kind of done beyond that now is we do a lot of work in assisted living communities. We do a lot of things at skilled nursing facilities to where communication is the only way in which you can properly take care of people anymore. So we're held to outcomes. We're held to improving, patients within their home or an assisted living community, making sure wounds get better, and to communicate with the family, to communicate with your referral source is just paramount. And then it's taking a majority or all of the insurances. It's about negotiating contracts with those insurance companies so that you can treat everybody fairly. Too many companies right now are, instead of arguing with an insurance company, they're settling.
Right.
And in turn, I honestly believe a lot of people are getting second-rate care. So I kind of operate under the principle that you will be treated the same regardless of your payer source, and we will argue and fight and yell and scream.
Yes, you have
with
people
your insurance
for that.
Company. Yes.
I know them.
And we work very, very, very diligently so an insurance company just can't say you get 4 therapy visits after you had your knee replaced. It's not going to work.
Absolutely.
And so
you truly advocate for
your
patients.
We advocate for every single one of those patients.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I've listened to people on the phone, and they will argue a case through and through just for your patients. And just from working with you guys, I do notice that. And you're right, your insurance authorization people, all day long, that's all they do, is try to get more. And if they see something strange on the paperwork, they always kind of argue it back. And you have a lot of repeat people. So they might have seen you for one thing, but then maybe a few months later, another injury happened, or, something that happens in senior care. And I've definitely seen a lot of repeat people come back, which is really a testament to your service.
Again, for me, it's I want that phone call to ring. I want to be able to help every time we can, where we can. And so if you can't make that a pleasurable experience, the phone's not going to ring a second time.
Right. Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I love it. So kind of piggybacking off of that, what do you think has been one of your most rewarding experiences that you've had, especially in this industry and dealing with people's loved ones?
I mean, there's unique scenarios every single day. I mean, on the non-medical side, in the beginning, it was some of those things to where, we had taken care of somebody's mom or dad, and, they can't get across country. And so we've got somebody that's maybe sitting with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, helping them through just those daily tasks. And they were there to hold mom or dad's hand when somebody passed away, when a son or daughter couldn't be there. Right. But, every day there's different scenarios because like I said, we don't say no to a patient. So when you get somebody that's able to go back home that they didn't think they'd be able to go home, or stay home when they didn't think they were going to. There's just all these little fundamental parts that if somebody wants to be proactive in their care and they want to kind of bend over backwards for themselves, we're going to do it as well. And so every single day you see great things, you see bad things, but the majority of our clients, the majority of our patients really, see that we're going so far to do what we can for them that they do the same thing for our staff.
Yeah. That's a very humbling and honor to be able to take care of somebody, especially if it's their last final days.
Yep.
You're right. I mean, that alone is a rewarding experience in itself, that they trust you so much to be able to share those last moments with their loved ones. So, absolutely. Well, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about your relationship with GMS. Okay. So, how's your experience been so far with GMS?
So, one of the things I tell literally every business owner, and it's almost, it's one of those funny things to where I'm a born entrepreneur. I'm not physically designed to work for somebody else. And the way that I look at, I want to kind of specialize in every single thing that I do, but you also have to realize that you can't be a pro at everything. So I want to focus on my business. I want to focus on my clients. I want to focus on my patients. Well, I don't want to focus on HR rules. Mm-hmm. I don't want to focus on payroll. I don't want to, I want to recruit the best people, but I don't want to have to talk to 100 to get there. So, those are some of those kinds with GMS where we use you guys for our recruiting, for, some of our initial onboarding, for some different training things. I want the best, but I want them filtered through because I don't have time to talk to all of them. And so you guys allow that to happen. You guys allow our payroll process to be easier, from an HR side of the house of asking questions, from a policy and procedure book, things that too many owners get swamped down in, they get occupied in, and they're not focused on marketing, and so their phone's not ringing, or they're not focusing on recruiting because they're worried about other things. And so stay in your own wheelhouse. Let somebody else run the things that you can't have somebody else run for you.
Right.
So you guys kind of fit that niche when we were a little dinky $100,000 a year company to where we're now approaching a $10 million a year company. You've grown and scaled with us and allowed us to do the things that we need to do, and then kind of push some of those other tasks that I don't personally want to do into you personally.
Yes, me personally.
Yes.
But I do like doing them. I mean, we've done a lot with helping with your training and orientation, definitely recruiting. That's a huge piece I know that you value a lot, because we know phone screens take a long time. So it's definitely been fun to work with you guys. I've learned so much about the difficulties that you guys deal with and struggle with from a personnel perspective, and your recruiting and your retention is probably the hardest, especially on the non-medical side, and finding caregivers. I mean, I think that your colleagues put it really well too. I mean, you're in that industry because you care about others. It's the paycheck is great and wonderful and all, but at the end of the day, they're doing it because they have a passion, and they're truly there to serve others. So that's been really eye-opening, and just learning so many different industry requirements. So it's you guys have yes, and you guys have definitely been so much for my knowledge base. So I'm forever grateful for the experience that you guys have really given me over the past couple of years as well. So
I like that. Again, as we've grown and we acquired an office in Toledo and then a second office in Toledo. I mean, GMS was right there with us to kind of go back over and say, we need to do this right now. The other owner is walking out. So you were there to kind of say, let's re-interview, let's get the paperwork done, let's make sure these people are set up the right way. To where it would have been hard for us to accomplish some of those things 100 miles away.
Yes, so, that was fun though. That was a fun little trip to Toledo, and
it's a good way to describe it. It's not the words I would use, but
I like it.
It's been 2 years
now. That's part of my job. I get enjoyment out of it,
and it's going well now.
Yes, so, it has been 2 years, hasn't it?
Yep.
Wow, time flies.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been great on that side though. I mean, for the most part, you probably have different things, but you look at numbers. I'm like, everything's going great.
And again, it is. I mean, all three different aspects of the company really are growing and have really. I mean, we're up this year. We're up 44% year over year from last year.
Awesome.
So, and with the new rules coming and changes in Medicare, you're going to see a lot of our competition kind of close and go out of business. Yeah. They're stuck with debt. They're stuck with problems and staff inefficiencies.
Yeah.
And
it's finding constant ways to be efficient and finding ways to be efficient, whether on your side or my side, because retention and keeping all those things. I mean, we don't want to see nurses leaving because they didn't feel like the orientation process was strong enough, and all of those are things encompassing that we really try to do better and communicate, or
Yep.
if, conversations or performance conversations need to happen, I sit right next to anybody to make sure that those are all done kind of by the book. But we're not only serving you guys, but your employees. Your
100%.
employees really do become part of GMS in this, and
Yep.
we get to know them on a total different level, which is really rewarding as well.
Yep.
Great. But you pretty much nailed it on the head. You answered all my other questions all in one. So
Okay.
thanks.
Good.
What would you say to anybody considering joining GMS? I think you just told them everything you would tell.
Well, again, my thing is focus on your own fundamentals. Focus on your own strengths. Hire
Yes.
somebody else to achieve your weaknesses. And I know very few entrepreneurs at any level are great at the HR side. You
Yeah.
are.
We tend to
You know.
hold you back a little.
Yeah, exactly. So the reality becomes is focus on what you want to do. So I don't
Yes.
care if you're selling something, I don't care if you're buying something, I don't care if you're trading. It doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, those are the things that you are good that distinguishes your business or your building. Allow the other sides of your business aspect to be run and managed by somebody else that specializes in that individual field. Don't get stuck treading water thinking about
Right.
workers' compensation or unemployment or
Right.
the most boring things on the face of the planet.
Yes, definitely.
Run your own company and grow.
Still exciting for me.
No, not at all.
That's my wheelhouse. I'm weirdly in love with all those things, so that's why we make a good partner.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, that is all I have for you today. I really appreciate you taking the time
Yep.
to meet with us, to speak with us. I'm sure our viewers love to hear things about our clients and our businesses as well that join GMS. If you have any questions or want to know any more information about GMS or Always Best Care Senior Services, we do have links below if you want to check them out. I'm sure Neil would be more than welcome to talk to you on some of those as well. And we thank you so much for your time.
Yep, thank you. Had a good time.